Hello students. So today we'll start the lecture 5 and the pollution of air and water chapter. So in this lecture we will study the water pollution. Okay. Now like the air pollution we already covered a lot of things like what is air pollution, what are the causes and what are the effects of the air pollution and how we can control the air pollution also. So, like this, we are now going to study the water pollution. Okay. So, first thing that is the water pollution occurs when harmful pollutants and particulate matter. Let me take the pen first. So, particulate matter are introduced into water body. So here you can see that in the water body, suppose you are throwing plastic bottles, suppose the fertilizers and also the pesticides that you are spraying in the crops and that will mix with the soil and with the help of the rainwater, it may be the soil is coming to this water body. So when this will happen, you can see that these pesticides and fertilizers, these are synthetic chemical and these will pollute the water body. Okay. So water pollution occurs when harmful pollutants and particulate matter are introduced into the water body. And these contaminants are generally introduced by human activity like improper sewage treatment, oil spills, and even natural process also we have, that is the eutrophication. That is the eutrophication. And this also can cause the water pollution. Okay. So that means that we are responsible for the water pollution as well as there is some natural water pollution may be there. Okay. So the water pollution is said to occur when toxic pollutants and particulate matter are introduced into water bodies such as lake, rivers, and oceans or seas. Okay. So these contaminants are generally introduced by human activities like, so human activity, which human activity, that is the sewage treatment. Okay. Sewage treatment. Another human activity is also responsible that I have told in the last slide also, that human activity, that means we are doing the agricultural processes. So in the agricultural processes we are using fertilizers, we are using pesticides. Now this may come to through the soil, this may come to the water body. Okay, water body, if rainwater is there or any other means also, suppose wind is there at that time, it can be mixed with the water body also. So at that time also the water of that pond or river or seas, lakes, those will be polluted. And there is another process, that is the eutrophication. That eutrophication will study elaborately. That is the natural process for which the water pollution may occur. Okay. Now, other significant causes of the water pollution: dumping solid waste in water body. Now, we have seen in case of Ganga, Yamuna, and different types of rivers, those holy rivers, we can see that we are dumping, suppose we are dumping the different types of flowers, and also sometimes we are dumping so many plastics and so many that is the animals also, we are throwing the dead animals also we are throwing in the water, and also the dead plants also we are throwing in the water. So the solid wastes in the water body we are dumping, disposing untreated industrial sewage into the water bodies. This is another problem. Industrial sewage, that is directly we are just through the sewage system, that is mixing with the water bodies. That means it will pollute the water body. And human and animal waste, that is also mixed with the water body. Agricultural runoff containing the pesticides and fertilizers. that earlier also I have told. So agricultural runoff containing pesticides and fertilizers that will mix with the water of lakes, rivers, seas. So that will cause the different types of water pollution. That will cause the water pollution. Another thing you can see that flowers, animal, uh, dead animal, dead animal. Just a minute. Sometimes we are throwing also dead animal, and plants also we are throwing. A part of the plants or total plants also we are throwing. Trees also we are throwing. Sorry. So there are so many waste we are throwing in the water, dumping in the water. And another thing, that is the plastic material. It may be plastic packet, it may be plastic bottles we are throwing in the, so dumping in the solid waste in the water bodies. So that will cause the water pollution. And the industrial sewage that is untreated, that means the sewage that can be mixed with the water bodies, that will make the river most polluted. And human animal wastes also that will pollute the water. And agricultural runoff that is containing the pesticides, fertilizers, already I have told, those that will mix with the water of the lakes, rivers and seas, and it will pollute the water bodies. Okay. Now the effects of water pollution are very pronounced in environment. Toxic chemicals can by accumulate in the living beings, and these chemicals can travel there up to food chain, because we can see that there are lot of aquatic animals are there, right? So if the water is toxic, if the water that is toxic, that means in this process the aquatic animals, that means aquatic organisms, so many organisms that are living in their home is the water body. So they are taking this toxic or what toxic water. So they are taking the toxic water, that means it will be harmful for them. Then again that fishes you are taking also. So that means the problem also that is circulating throughout the food chain, and ultimately it is reaching the humans. That we cannot understand the severity, but here the toxic chemicals that toxic chemicals that will be mixed with the water body, the water of the water bodies, you can see that the the aquatic animals they are taking as a food of, okay. And whenever they are taking as a food, and whenever the other organisms they are taking in the food chain, they are taking the predators, at that time you can see that the toxicity that will be transferred to the predators, and then again other predator also that will take the food. So ultimately it is coming back to the human. So among other types of pollution, water pollution is very severe. So we have to stop water pollution, because water is a substance that we cannot stop taking. Okay. Now there is a problem. You can see if for instance in 1932, a grave case of water pollution incapacitated the inhabitants of the entire city of Japan. You can see in 1932, and the total people of the Japan, they were just suffering from the neurological diseases and mental illness for many decades. And immediate cause was not apparently find they cannot find out, but it was the mercury mercury poisoning. It was the poisoning. It was the mercury poisoning. Okay, mercury poisoning. So due to these several decades, they were suffer from the neurological disorders and mental illness. Here you can see the pictures of these two. This is the picture of the 1932, and there is a case of the water pollution, the mercury that has been mixed in the water, and you can see that the mercury that poisoning due to these there were mental illness has been developed, and neurological disorders, these all has been developed are there. Okay, so there is a huge problem, and diseases these diseases that continued for many decades. So this is a severe problem here. Now, the methyl mercury was dumped into the surrounding bay and had ultimately bioaccumulate inside the fish. So here you can see that the mercury cycle. Here we have how mercury enters in the air. Okay, so here you can see that oats coal you have, and this mercury will be mixed, and here you can see that this mercury, the magma also you have here. Suppose some volcanic eruption is there, from this also the mercury can be mixed with here, and you can see that this is the food chain, the bacteria source, and this is the food chain. Low oxygen ozone is there, air sea interaction is there in case of our mercury cycle. So mercury cycle from earth to atmosphere to ocean, that can occur, that is called mercury cycle. And in the ocean, mercury is converted. In the ocean, I am writing here, in the ocean, mercury is converted to monomethyl mercury, that is MMHG, monomethyl mercury, a neurotoxin that moves up the food chain and becomes highly concentrated in tuna, swordfish, and other fish that people eat. Okay, so in the ocean, mercury is converted to monomethyl mercury, and this is a neurotoxin that moves up the food chain and becomes highly concentrated in tuna, swordfish, other fishes that people are taking. That means it is coming back to our human body. So these are the main problems where you can see that diffusion of the mercury dissolves this mercury, and this you can see that the monomethyl mercury, the bacteria they are taking this one, and these bacteria they are taking the fishes also, sometimes they are taking the bacteria also, and this in particles sinks to the sea floor, and this monomethyl mercury that in particles sinks to the sea floor. Okay, so this will be eaten, this water, this is the home of the fishes, and you can see that in the food chain it will be added, and it will become highly concentrated in the tuna, swordfish, and other fishes. And whenever the human that they are eating these fishes, at that time the mercury will be act as the poison to their body, so we are suffering from this thing. So the local population then the consume these fishes, and this results the manifestation of the ill effects and neurological disorders will happen. Okay. So understood the mercury cycle, how it can be added to the human being. Now, other consequences of water pollution include disruption of ecosystem. Obviously, if food chain will be affected, disrupted, that means the ecosystem will be disrupted. And threats to the marine life, because water body is the home for fishes and other aquatic animals, and increase the risk of waterborne diseases like typhoid. And there are so many waterborne diseases here, like typhoid. You have the waterborne diseases. Another thing that we have already studied, that the fishes, due to the mercury also, we can have neurological disorder here. And you can see that a lot of water diseases are there, and this, like waterborne diseases like polio, malaria, cholera, dengue, scabies, just a minute, scabies, anemia, botulism. So these are different types of diseases that can be waterborne diseases. Okay, that can be waterborne diseases. So these are the main problem. Now you can see that there are commonly recognized waterborne infections are the cryptosporidiosis, and you can have so many problems also, and the different symptoms are there. So here you can see that cholera and typhoid. There is this is another disease, that typhoid. This is another waterborne disease, and other waterborne diseases include diarrhea. We can have diarrhea, dysentery, dysentery, polio, and meningitis. We can have meningitis. And unclean water for washing can cause skin infections, eye infections, such as trachoma. Okay. So increase in toxic chemicals in water bodies, that also cause the consequences, and eutrophication. Okay, so here we have seen that there will be some disruption of the ecosystem and threats to the marine life, and increased risk of waterborne diseases like polio, malaria, cholera, dengue, scabies, anemia, botulism, typhoid, diarrhea, dysentery, meningitis. And there are so many. If unclean water you are washing your skin also, at that time you can see that skin diseases may occur, and increased toxic chemicals in water bodies and eutrophication. Okay. Now, what are the different ways in which water gets contaminated? Water gets contaminated. So I am writing the answer. You can write down also. The different ways in which the water gets contaminated are: number one, industrial waste. The harmful chemical wastes get released by the industries into water sources. Then sewage waste, kitchen, laundry, and toilets release the waste material and pollutes water. Then agricultural chemicals, excessive amount of pesticides and fertilizers are used by the farmers for enhancing crop production, rains and floods carry these harmful chemicals to water bodies, which results in water pollution. Okay. Next question. Clear, transparent water is always fit for drink. Comment. No, we don't agree because always it is not like that. We don't agree to the statement because the microorganisms that we cannot see with the naked eye, the microscopic view we should check. So clean water is always fit for drinking because water might appear clean, but it may contain some disease causing microorganisms and several other dissolved impurities. Hence, we advise purifying the water by boiling or by any purifying system before drinking it, like we are using RO. Okay. Next, you are a member of municipal body of your own town. Now make a list of measures that would help your town to ensure the supply of clean water to all its residents. So here the following are the measures taken by us to ensure the supply of clean water to our town residents. Like we clean the area around water pipes, the main water source has a built sorry has a built in a clean surrounding and should be maintained properly. Chemical methods such as chlorination must be used for purifying water. Okay. Next, why does the increased level of nutrients in the water affect the survival of aquatic organisms? An increase in the level of nutrients in water body leads to an excessive increase in the population of algae in the water body. When these algae die, they serve as food for decomposers. A lot of oxygen is utilized in this process Consequently, leading to a decrease in the level of oxygen dissolved in the water body. This in turn causes fishes and aquatic organisms to die. Okay, so an increase in the level of nutrients in water body leads to an excessive increase in the population of algae in the water body. When these algae die, they serve as food for decomposers. A lot of oxygen is utilized in this process, consequently leading to a decrease in the level of oxygen dissolved in the water body. So this in turn causes the fishes and aquatic organisms to die. Aquatic organisms to die. Okay. Next, the eutrophication. So let me change the pointer color. Eutrophication, this is a process in which a water body becomes overly enriched with nutrients. Overly enriched with nutrients. And it leads to this leading to plentiful growth of simple plants life. And the excessive growth of algae and plankton is in a water body are indicators of this process. So eutrophication, that means this is overly the water that is overly enriched with nutrients, okay. So this is the main thing, that is the eutrophication. So eutrophication, this is the process in which a water body becomes overly enriched with nutrients and leading to plentiful growth of simple plant life. More algae will be there and more, so it will help to the more that is the simple plant life. So here you can see that it will lose food, habitat and oxygen production. So here we will see elaborately what are the effects of eutrophication. So eutrophication is considered to be serious environmental concern, and this is the natural cause of water pollution, that is the eutrophication. And here you can see that there is a deterioration of water quality and depletion of the dissolved oxygen in water body. So dissolved oxygen in water body, that means the main cause due to the eutrophication. First thing, the water quality, the deterioration of water quality, that will cause water quality. Another thing, that is the depletion of dissolved dissolved oxygen in water bodies. So eutrophication, that means due to the eutrophication means the nutrients will be increased, and these nutrients that cause an increase and in the photoplankton, and here you can see that this eutrophication, due to this there is a deterioration of water quality and depletion of dissolved oxygen in water bodies. Okay. So the definition of eutrophication, the eutrophication may be defined as the inorganic nutrient enrichment of natural waters and leading to the increased production of algae and macrophytes. Algae and macrophytes. Algae and macrophytes. So again I am repeating the definition of the definitions of the eutrophication. So eutrophication may be defined as the inorganic nutrient enrichment of natural waters. Okay, and this leads the increased production of algae and macrophytes. Okay, algae and macrophytes. Algae and macrophytes. So here you can see that the macrophytes, I am writing here, are the aquatic plants. These are the aquatic plant growing, sorry, growing in or near water, and they may be emergent. Emergent means with upright portion above the water surface, that is with upright portion above, sorry, above the water surface, above the water surface. I'm writing here submerged or floating. Examples of macrophytes include cattles, hydrilla, water shrimp, and duckweed. Okay, so these are the macrophytes. So macrophytes here, the macro, these are the aquatic plant growing in or near the water, and they may be emergent, that means the portion, upright portion above the water surface, or submerged or floating also. And examples of the macrophytes, these are cattles, hydrilla, water hyacinth, and duckweed. Okay. Now, many lakes are naturally eutrophic, and in some cases, there is a progressive eutrophication as the lake matures. And the term eutrophication is most widely known in relation to the human activities, whereas artificial introduction of plant nutrients has led to community changes and deterioration of water quality in freshwater system. In freshwater system in freshwater system. So eutrophication, you know that means excess amount of you have the excess amount of, that is the nutrients. Okay, so eutrophication, this is the process in which a water body becomes overly enriched with nutrients and leading to plentiful growth of the simple plant life, and the excessive growth of algae and plankton that in a water body is the indicator of this process. Okay, now where is eutrophic water found? Cultural eutrophication can occur in freshwater, saltwater bodies, shallow water being the most susceptible, and in shorelines, shallow lakes, sediments are frequently resuspended by wind and waves, which can result in nutrients released from the sediments into the overlaying water, enhancing the eutrophication. Okay, so where this eutrophication water can be found. Okay, so till much for today. Thank you all. Thank you.